This is Jarrod Horak, and in this video, I will take a look at Pool 4 of the Kentucky Derby Future Wager. This pool will run from Friday, February 14th through Sunday, February 16th, and is going to close on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Earlier this week, I posted my latest Kentucky Derby 2025 report at therunawayhorse.com on my Kentucky Derby page. That report includes the latest Derby news, points race recaps, updated point standings, and my exceptional 11 Derby contenders. You can check out that article now at therunawayhorse.com, and I will include a link to that report in the video description below. In my recent Kentucky Derby Future Wager videos, I covered Pool 2. I mentioned that journalism was worth a play in that pool. In my Pool 3 video, I gave out 5 horses worth considering: Grande, Gunmetal, Patch Adams, Sovereignty, and Tappan Street. And I am covering all of the Derby points races on my YouTube channel just like I do each year. So keep checking for those handicapping videos each week. This week I posted the Risen Star and Sunland Derby, and you can watch those videos now. Now there are 40 betting interests beginning with Barnes this year. And for Barnes, a Bob Baffert trainee, and he's done nothing wrong so far. After 2 starts, he won his career debut in a 5.5 furlong sprint. And then he ran in the San Vicente Stakes, and he dominated that race by more than 5 lengths. Looks like he wants to run further. He's got a high cruising speed. He likes to be right up on the pace, just like a lot of Derby contenders seem to have that similar running style this year. We're going to find out how far he wants to go in his upcoming starts. And Built is the next one. And for him, for trainer Wayne Catalano, in the Gunrunner Stakes, he just got out there and controlled the pace that day. Slow early, fast late, he dominated. The Lecomte Stakes, he caught a wet track. He had post 12. He worked out a decent stalking trip, but Disco Time outfinished him, and he missed by a neck there. And he is going to run in the Risen Star Stakes next. Burnham Square is number 3 at 20-1 in this pool for trainer Ian Wilkes. And he looked good winning the Holy Bull Stakes last time out, rallying from off the pace. Certainly when they added blinkers, he started to get good, because when they added blinkers in his maiden race on December 28th at Fairgrounds, he stalked, he won that one, and then he won the Holy Bull. So 2 for 2 since adding blinkers, and he looks like a promising horse from off the pace. Captain Cook for trainer Rick Dutrow, he's one that's won his last 2 starts, and for him, he dominated a wet track 7 furlong race at Aqueduct, a maiden special weight event, and he won that one by more than 9. And then last time he won the Wither Stakes. He stalked comfortably outside. He's probably going to go in the Wood Memorial next. Chancer McPatrick, 2-time Grade 1 winner last year for Chad Brown. He hasn't run this year yet. His last start, he was 6th in a 10-horse field in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He is back on the work tab this year. Citizen Bull, he's won his last 3 starts, graded stakes races around 2 turns, and those were all of his 2-turn races. So as soon as they stretched him out, he started really getting good, controlled the pace in the American Pharoah, controlled the pace in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and it was deja vu all over again because he controlled the pace in his first start this year, the Robert Lewis Stakes. So if you hand him a lead, he's definitely going to be tough to catch. Coal Battle, he's versatile. He rallied from off the pace to win the Springboard Mile, and in the Smarty Jones, he went out there and he set the pace, and that was a slow early, fast late event. He's 40-1 in this pool. Cyclone State, number 8, is 50-1 in this pool, and for him, he was able to win his last 3 starts. They were all 1-turn miles, including the Jerome Stakes, a Kentucky Derby points race. He's one that I think he is best at a 1-turn mile. Disco Time has done nothing wrong for Brad Cox. He's 3 for 3. In his first 2 wins at 7 furlongs and a 1-turn mile, he was up on the pace. In the Lecomte Stakes, it was nice to see him overcome some things, and he was the favorite in all 3 of his starts. He had post 10 in the slop in the Lecomte, and that was his first start around 2 turns, first start on a wet track, first stakes attempt, and he rallied wide. He was super wide in the stretch, and he was able to run and win that race over Built by a neck. Very good effort there. Was not a fast race, though, so we're still going to learn more about him in upcoming starts. So East Avenue is number 10 at 15-1, and we're going to find out if he's improved from age 2 to 3 when he runs in the Risen Star Stakes as the favorite this Saturday. And he dominated his first 2 starts on the front end, including the Grade 1 Breeders' Futurity, and then in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile in his last start, ended up stumbling badly at the start from the inside post, and he never picked up his feet. Training well, including a bullet workout on January 17th. We'll see how he does in the Risen Star. It looks like there's not a ton of pace in that race. I did the video for that race. You can watch that video, and he should be all over the pace there. Ferocious, he disappointed in the Holy Bull, a race that he needed. So he's been one that looks, if you look at his overall form, he was better around one turn last year. First Resort hasn't run this year yet for trainer Owen Hardy. He won the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes last year, chasing the pace from second. Gaming has disappointed this year after running second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Then he was third in the Los Al Futurity as the 1-2 favorite, and he was beaten more than 6 lengths there. The Southwest Stakes, he was ranked early. He was uncomfortable. He never picked up his feet there, and he's off his game right now. Another one to look at, Gaming's stablemate, Getaway car for trainer Bob Baffert. He was second in the Los Al Futurity, second in the American Pharoah, fourth in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and he is the favorite this Sunday. It's the Sunland Derby, and that looks like a race that he should be very competitive in. He's been facing some tough company like Journalism, Citizen Bull, and Gaming in his recent starts, and he'll appreciate the class relief most likely in that Sunland Derby. Grande for Todd Pletcher. He's number 16 in this pool at 30-1. He looked good in his debut. That was on January 11th. He hasn't run back yet. We'll have to see how he does in upcoming starts. He's very light on seasoning with only that one start. Hypnus, another one for trainer Kenny McPeak, who's only run once, but his first start was a 2-turn race, and it was on the Lecomte Stakes undercard in the slop, and he rallied to win that race. He looked good that day, and we'll see where they go next with Hypnus. Innovator in the Lecomte Stakes set the pace and finished a close third. He's one that is always up on the pace. He's just 1 for 8 with 4 runner-up finishes. John Hancock, number 19 at 25-1 in this pool for trainer Brad Cox. He's 2 for 2. He won his 6 furlong debut at Tampa, right back at Tampa in the Sam F. Davis, and I like the gameness that he showed that day. He was very inexperienced, giving away a lot of experience to the other rivals in that race, including the runner-up Owen Almighty. Also for John Hancock, he was challenged by Owen Almighty at the 4 furlong mark, and those two just battled all the way to the end. But John Hancock showed gameness, and he turned away Owen Almighty, and he won that race by a half length. So he's got plenty of upside with only 2 starts. Jonathan Sway is going to run in the Risen Star Stakes this weekend, and he had some success last year. He was first in the first Kentucky Derby points race, the Iroquois Stakes, and he was also second in his last start, the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes. Journalism for trainer Michael McCarthy, he's 2 for 2 since they've stretched him out in distance. He broke his maiden at Del Mar, and then he won the Los Al Futurity, defeating Getaway car and Gaming. Another one that's worth considering in this pool, Patch Adams, number 24 at 30-1. Now, he ran a hole in the wind, really, in his maiden race. That was at 7 furlongs at Churchill in November, and he pressed the pace, and he aired. He won by 10 lengths that day. Fast race. He was the strong favorite. He came back as the favorite in the Southwest Stakes, but he disappointed that day. He didn't have a great start, and he ended up finishing 4th. He just did miss 3rd behind Tiztastic. So Patch Adams needs a better start in his next start, wherever that may be, in a Kentucky Derby points race. Most likely, Brad Cox remains high on that one. Now, Poster for trainer Owen Hardy. He won the Remsen last year, and then he was 3rd in his first start this year, the Sam F. Davis. He can improve in his next start. Rapture for Brad Cox. This is a son of Uncle Mo, and they paid $300,000 for him. Second in his debut behind Vassimo, and Vassimo is going to run in the Risen Star, so maybe we'll get a gauge on how good Rapture is. But Rapture did come back in his second career start. Dominated. He won by 6 lengths. He added lay 6. He was the heavy favorite. Mile on the 16th at Oakland on January 25th. So he looks like a promising runner for Brad Cox. Rodriguez, really good maiden win when he just dominated on the front end at Santa Anita. But then in the Robert Lewis Stakes, he couldn't go with his stablemate Citizen Bull, your 2-year-old champion. He's won his last 3 graded stake starts around 2 turns. So nothing wrong with Rodriguez finishing a clear second behind Citizen Bull, who had that stakes experience and just much more overall experience than this one. $485,000 son of Authentic, and Rodriguez has a lot of ability, and we'll see where he ends up next. Sandman, number 32 at 40-1. He looks interesting for Mark Casse. This is a son of Tappan, and For him, he was 5th in the Iroquois Stakes, and then he was 3rd in the Street Sense. They dropped him into an optional claiming race, and he won that. And then in the Southwest Stakes, bad start. He really gave the race away at the start, but he was able to rally and finish second, beaten a length. Could have been best that day. Good effort for him there. Sovereignty. Now, Sovereignty is one that he hasn't run this year, but he showed a lot of ability, breaking his maiden in the Grade 3 Street Scent Stakes, a Kentucky Derby points race in October. And he's back on the work tab this year, and he's going to be running in the near future. Tappan Street. He was a horse that I said was worth a play in the last pool, and he ran well in that Holy Bull in his second career start after breaking his maiden at 7 furlongs. So in the Holy Bull, it was only his second career start, first start around 2 turns, first stake start, and he rallied and he took the lead. He was my top choice that day, but he could not hold off Burnham Square. He was only beaten a length and 3/4, and he was more than 9 lengths clear of the show finisher. Tappan Street, a $1 million son of Into Mischief, remains a solid Derby hopeful. He can definitely improve in his next 2-turn start. He should have gotten a lot out of that Holy Bull Stakes. Tiztastic's very consistent. He just keeps hitting the board in these races, 2nd in the Street Sense, 3rd in the Kentucky Jockey Club, 3rd in the Southwest Stakes. He just grinds away and gives it his all, and Tiztastic is one. Wouldn't be surprised if he just keeps picking up these minor awards, getting enough points to run in the Kentucky Derby, and then we'll see where the chips fall if he does end up in that race for trainer Steve S. Musson. I mentioned Vassimo for trainer Todd Pletcher. He won his debut over Rapture, and then he won second time out as the favorite. So for him, he's 2 for 2, and he's going to be running in the Risen Star, and he's probably going to be saving ground, tracking the pace there. And then we have, for number 40, all other 3-year-olds, and they're 9 to 2. So any other 3-year-old that wasn't listed on this list, if you wanted to play of all other 3-year-olds, you would get all of those horses that aren't on this list if they end up running in the Kentucky Derby. You can make a win wager, or you can play exactas in this pool. And now it's going to be time to look at the 5 most interesting horses in Pool 4. And I'm going to concentrate on closers in this pool, because if you look at all of these points races and just any stakes races from last year and even into this year, so many speed horses have been winning all of these stakes races on the road to the Derby. Horses like Barnes, Built, Captain Cook, Citizen Bull, Coal Battle, Cyclone Street, East Avenue, First Resort, Getaway Car, Innovator, John Hancock, Jonathan's Way, Rodriguez, Speed King. All of those horses have been forwardly placed and finishing in the top 2 in stakes races this year and or last year. So the early pace has been fast in the last 3 runnings of the Kentucky Derby, and closers performed well those 3 years. And then that scenario could certainly play out again this year if many of the 2025 speed horses stay healthy and they make the gate for the Derby. So now we'll go with the 5 horses, the most interesting horses, and we'll start with number 5, Chancellor McPatrick. Now he's 25 to 1 in this pool for trainer Chad Brown, and he did win 2 Grade 1 races in 2024. They were around 1 turn, and then he ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but the race flow was against him that day. Citizen Bull and Gaming just dominated that race up front in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And then after the Juvenile, he had a small flake removed from a front ankle, and then he also had a rear quarter crack that was discovered after the Breeders' Cup. And he is back on the work tab this year. He breezed at Payson Park on January 26th, February 2nd, and February 9th. And if he continues to go well and keep training regularly, he's expected to run in the Tampa Bay Derby on March 8th. And then after that, if that goes well, he'll run in the Bluegrass Stakes on April 5th. So he's one that's a nice late runner. He has strong late pace ratings, and Chancellor McPatrick, we'll see if he can go around 2 turns and how good he has, or if he has improved from age 2 to 3, if he does show up in that Tampa Bay Derby. Well, the next one I'll talk about is a horse that I talked about in Pool 2, and that's number 21, Journalism, at 20 to 1. Now, he is 2 for 2 in fast track dirt routes, and he earned solid late pace ratings in both of those wins around 2 turns, including the Grade 2 Losal Futurity. But then he got sick after that race. He was supposed to run in the Robert Lewis. He had to miss that race, but he's working regularly now, and he might go next in the Grade 2 San Felipe at Santa Anita on March 1st. So Journalism seems to be one that just the longer the better for him. Number 25, Poster, at 40 to 1. He's interesting in this pool, and he rallied to win the Grade 2 Remsen Stakes at 1 1/8 late last year. And then he returned and he finished a decent third in the Grade 3 Sam F. Davis. He was rallying from off the pace that day. Now, the race flow was against him in the Sam F. Davis because the top two finishers ran 1-2 all the way around the track, and he was the only closer making up ground. So I can see Poster performing better in his next start on the road to the Derby. Number 32, Sandman. He's another one that I like in here, and he's 40-1 morning line for trainer Mark Casse. He finished third behind Sovereignty in the Grade 3 Street Sense last October, and he won an allowance route at Oaklawn Park on December 13th. That race was slow early, fast late, and he rallied to win that one. And then he blew the brake last time out, and he rallied to finish second, beaten a length behind the front runner that day, Speed King, in the Grade 3 Southwest Stakes. So I thought he was possibly best in that Southwest, and Sandman in his upcoming Derby Points race starts will be a good late running threat, and he seems to have a lot of stamina. And then finally, number 34 is Sovereignty at 20-1, and he has been my top ranked Derby contender since I started my Derby list last year. And again, you can read my latest Kentucky Derby report at therunawayhorse.com on my Kentucky Derby page. And for Sovereignty, he is back on a regular work schedule now. He got sick earlier this winter. He was working and then he had missed some time between works, but now he's back on a regular work pattern, and he is targeting the Fountain of Youth Stakes at Gulfstream Park on March 1st. But that race, obviously, with that short stretch, mile and a 16th at Gulfstream, typically favors horses who are forwardly placed. Sovereignty will be coming off of a layoff. So hopefully, I think his connections more than anything else, just want to see him run a quality race. Sit back, make a late run, but get a decent amount out of that race, and then move forward in his final Derby prep, wherever they decide that will be. So Sovereignty is the one that is my top-ranked Derby contender, and I'm anxious to see him start his 3-year-old campaign in that Fountain of Youth Stakes. So like, comment, share these videos if you like them. Subscribe to my channel as well. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.